Do I get as much outdoor and natural light time as I do screen time? Yeah, let that sink in. And I dare you to track that for a week. It's incredible, I'm sure. So, friends, moral of the story is get outside, let the light in your house, set down the blue light devices, and soak in more of God's light. Plants need it, and so do we. Are you struggling with low energy, weight gain, hormonal imbalances, or heavy metal and mold toxicity? Do you want to learn more about anti-aging tips and creating more longevity in your life? Well, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Jen Heller, a wellness educator, infrared sauna expert, and home health consultant. In this podcast, Homes That Heal, I will teach you how to transform your home into a health and wellness sanctuary. Your health is your wealth, and I believe that your home should be your sanctuary space, loaded with the tools you need to thrive in your life, not just survive. If you want to feel fantastic and transform your life and home, grab a pen, let's dive in and create a home that heals. Hey friends, Jen here. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to Homes That Heal. So today we're going to dive into page 2 of the home wellness checklist. If you haven't done so already, jump over to jenhillerlifestyle.com and download your free home wellness checklist. Honestly, this is really the foundation and the core of the Homes That Heal show. It really was the basis, the idea, I guess, that kind of cultivated in my brain a few years back on how could I pour all of my ideas and thoughts and what I've done over the last 10, 15 years from like a home wellness standpoint into one easy, actionable, checklistable PDF and something that you could download and just check off. And a lot of people like lists. So it's just a really great way for you to get started. A lot of people ask me all the time, like, Jen, I have all these plans. I just don't know where to get started. I'm feeling overwhelmed. My house is chaotic. I don't feel good. Like, where do I start? And so with anything and with everything, you just have to start small and you have to start somewhere. So the home wellness checklist kind of breaks down different categories and you can pick and choose wherever you want to start. That's totally fine. There's no rhyme or reason to the order of it, but it just gives you some inspiration and ideas and a good place to get the wheel going in the right direction. So hop over to jenhillerlifestyle.com, download your checklist, and follow along. Today, we are going to talk about incorporating natural light into your home. And so this is really important. This is definitely a hot button for me because I love natural sunlight. I'll talk a little bit more about this when we get into the weeds or the details on this, but my home has to feel light and bright. I don't say in order for me to feel good and, heal and just harmonize my body, but just in general, like dark and dingy just doesn't feel good. So never underestimate the power of the sun, especially when you can bring its radiant rays inside your house. So the advantages of natural lighting are numerous, and we're going to get into the details, but they include improving mood, better sleep, increased vitamin D production, which is super important, enhancing productivity, just general life productivity, plus reducing stress. Unfortunately, it's not easy to get enough vitamin D in the winter months. I live in Wisconsin, and many of us Midwesterners suffer from shorter days and kind of drippy, dreary, non-color, if you will, a few months out of the year. And that can play a role and a part in your mood and your well-being. And so fortunately, we're just coming off of that. We just came off of daylight savings. So the brighter days are ahead. But a lot of people really slip into some unfortunate thoughts and unfortunate experiences during that time. So letting natural light in through your windows enables more sunlight to your skin. So your body creates more vitamin D during the day, even if you spend it all inside. So just sitting in front of a window when the sun is pouring in is super beneficial. So Mark can attest to this and confirm this too, but I have a chair that I sit in the morning. It's in our great room. It's one of the chairs that I inherited from my dad's house after he passed. And so I have a series of 3 matching chairs, and they sit in front of these huge windows in our great room. And so in the morning, the sun rises over the trees and blasts right into the great room. And there's like a direct line to the chair and ottoman that I like to sit in the morning. Sometimes I'm reading. Sometimes I'm just sitting with a cat on my lap. Sometimes Mark and I are sitting, chatting in the living room or having coffee. But I tend to sit in that chair because the sun just pours directly in. And honestly, sometimes I sit there in silence, prayer, meditation for over an hour. I've been known to sit there for longer. I know that there have been a few days last year that I probably sat there for a questionable amount of time, just thinking and soaking in the sun and relishing in the glory. Sometimes with my eyes closed, sometimes with my eyes open too, so I can actually see and my eyes can see the light. So it's so good. Overall, I just think it's truly essential for your health to live and work in a space that is abundant with natural light. And so we're actually going to break down a few reasons why. So I categorize these out. First is going to be physical health. And I'm just going to kind of roll through. I made some notes actually, so I didn't miss anything. I just going to kind of roll through a few reasons why and how allowing natural light in can be helpful for our physical health. So vitamin D production. Natural light helps our bodies synthesize vitamin D, which is crucial for bone health, immune function, and overall well-being. Improved circadian rhythm. Exposure to natural sunlight helps regulate our body's natural sleep-wake cycle, which is otherwise known as our circadian rhythm, leading to better sleep quality and improved alertness. Super important. Next is reduced stress and anxiety. Spending time in natural light can reduce stress and anxiety levels, promoting a sense of calm and well-being. We're going to talk a little bit more about that too when we get down to the mental and emotional health. Lowered risk of certain conditions. Studies suggest that adequate exposure to natural light may reduce the risk of developing conditions like seasonal affective disorder and certain types of cancer. And then reduced eye strain. Natural light can actually reduce the eye strain and fatigue compared to artificial lighting, promoting better visual health. That I think is really important since we spend a little too much time staring into these artificial screens. Okay, so mental and emotional health. This kind of just pairs with what we just talked about, but improved mood. Natural light has been shown to boost mood and reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety. Guys, this isn't just a suggestion. There is a ton of well-researched document study to support this, and it's honestly one of the most interesting awarenesses when you look at other areas of not just all over the world, but in our own country. I was recently chatting with a girlfriend actually earlier this week about her recent 7-week stay in Arizona. She was like, Jen, everyone is super happy and active and outside and everyone's in shape. It's just a totally different, like night and day difference to some other areas that don't see the sun as much. And I travel a lot, so I can definitely concur. I also have another girlfriend who's just returned from Florida, but we talked a few weeks ago and she called to catch up. Her and her husband go there for about 6 weeks each winter. And she's like, I'm just in my happy place. She's like, I just love it. The sun is shining. Got a beautiful condo. She's like, I'm just living my best life. So if you suffer from deep stress, depression, anxiety, seasonal affective disorder, take a step back and assess the amount of light you're receiving and how you can maybe incorporate more into your home and work environment. Also, this is a perfect time and opportunity for me to add, this is not just for our homes, this is for our work environments or anywhere that we're spending a significant amount of time. It's equally important. If you're working in like a dingy office inside a building all day, have little to no window or light exposure, it is crucial that you find ways to support your body's light energy somehow, some way. Obviously, you can't just decide to quit your job. Well, you could, but it's probably not ideal. But finding other ways to supplemental support your light energy, really important. Or take breaks, get outside, figure out ways to get some light on your eyes and light on your body. Okay, so moving on. Increased happiness. Exposure to sunlight triggers the release of serotonin, a neurotransmitter associated with feelings of happiness and well-being. I don't know about you, but I am happier when the sun is shining. As I said, I live in Wisconsin. I don't even care if it's cold out, but there's a huge difference in the winter. If the sun is shining and there's a blue sky, it could be 30 below zero. I can deal with the cold. It just feels better than cold and dingy and overcast. It just has a powerful energy. And I think everybody can agree. We're just shining a light, literally, pun intended, on ways that you can bring it into your house. Like, this isn't new information. I know many of you know this, but I'm just pointing to when we're talking about creating a home that heals or creating a home that feels good. I think sometimes people overlook the light energy that's coming in their home. So, anyways, next on the list, enhanced focus and productivity. Natural light can improve focus, concentration, and overall productivity in both work and academic settings. Improved sleep quality. This is really, really, really important. A healthy circadian rhythm supported by natural light leads to better sleep quality, which in turn improves cognitive function and overall well-being. It's also fantastic for staying awake and alert all day instead of getting into the midday or mid-afternoon slump. If you're experiencing that dip in the afternoon, it can be a sign that you're not getting enough natural sunlight. Your body is not awake or functioning optimally. So again, step back, consider the amount of light that you're getting or not getting, test it out and see how you feel or see how it impacts your life. Just kind of a quick everyday situation. So people call me every day to buy a sauna or ask me for health advice. And 9 times out of 10, we get into conversation and they're suffering from some sort of poor sleep, insomnia, super low energy, unbalanced hormones, like their bodies, they just feel off. And when I ask them how much sunlight they're getting, it's astonishing. It's just mind bending to me. Most people are like, oh, I rarely get outside or I work all day, I'm in my car, I just don't have time. And many are trapped indoors all day or under artificial lights. And then they go home when it's dark. And a lot of people, like a room darkening blinds or room darkening shades. It's like, holy cats, when are you actually seeing the sunlight? So blackout room conditions can feel good for sleep, but if you never wake up when the earth's light and like the moon patterns, which in my opinion is super beneficial, if you never really are ebbing and flowing with earth's light energy, that's why you feel so out of whack. I mean, we're energetic beings, we're creatures here, we're primal, we're meant to, back in the day, our ancestors, they scheduled their lives, like literally everything around their lives around the light energy. So think of it as like going back to primal wisdom and making sure that you're getting a lot of sunlight. Another thing too that I'll just mention, and this isn't in my notes, that this is actually just coming to me, is that a lot of times people feel fantastic when the sun rises and the sunset. We all chase sunrise, sunset, we feel good. That's because the sun is putting out a specific light energy. It mimics kind of red light therapy, which I'll get to in just a second. But our bodies absorb and soak that in and it feels good. It's literally therapeutic. So getting that every day or as much as possible, it's like feeding fuel and like food to the body, so to speak. It's just so good. So again, here's a question to ask yourself. Do I get as much outdoor and natural light time as I do screen time? Yeah, let that sink in. And I dare you to track that for a week. It's incredible, I'm sure. So, friends, moral of the story is get outside, let the light in your house, set down the blue light devices, and soak in more of God's light. Plants need it, and so do we. Okay, moving on, other benefits. These are just kind of a couple other things. Energy savings, utilizing natural light reduces the need for artificial lighting, leading to lower energy consumption and reduced electricity bills. Environmental benefits, reducing our reliance on artificial lighting contributes to a more sustainable and environmental friendly lifestyle. And then increase home value. Homes with ample natural light are more desirable and can command higher prices. So this is true for any house I've purchased, honestly, not just the homes we've lived in, but we've bought and sold and flipped homes and did a lot of things in the real estate world for the last 15 years. And when I walk in and if the vibe is dark and heavy or feels low due to poor lighting, I don't buy it. I'm out. Now, if we can change that, well, that's a different story. But if they're like small, dingy windows, or there's not a great view, or it feels dark and drab and you got low ceilings, I mean, you can still consider it, especially if location is fabulous. However, the studies and statistics show that natural light in windows literally sell houses. So if I walk in and it's light and bright and feels fantastic, that's home to me. I love it. Plus, if you're in nature, you have this gorgeous view. So if you've heard me tell the story about when we walked into our current home about 4 years ago, I won't go into all the details, but we live in a large house in the country. At the time, I told Mark I wasn't going to be looking at the MLS. We had owned a couple of other houses and flip projects we were working on. And I was inspired to look anyways, for whatever reason, on the MLS, and I found this house. And he's like, what in the world? We don't need to move. And I said, yes, we do. This looks perfect. This checks all of my boxes that I'm looking for to live in the country in a big house with big windows and all the things. And as soon as we walked in, Mark is always so willing to just go along with whatever free-spirited magic carpet ride I'm up for. But when we walked into this house, Within 2 seconds, the look on my face, he knew we were buying it. Our home has super high ceilings. Like the great room, the ceilings are like 30 feet tall, and then there's a big, huge skylight at the center of it, but it's loaded with floor to ceiling windows. It's like a massive treehouse. So again, we live in the country, so when you walk in, all you see is like green outdoors. And in the winter, it's like a winter wonderland. It's just fabulous. I honestly give gratitude for it every single day. I absolutely love living here. These windows sold this house to me. It just felt so inviting. And one of the first things we did after buying it, when we had our painters come in, we took down every single window treatment and blind in every single room, including our bedroom. We have no window treatments in any of the house. We have 87 windows, and the only 3 windows that have window treatments is in one of the guest rooms, and that's because my mom requested it. You're welcome, Deb. She wanted some privacy, which I can understand, but that's the only room that has blinds. The rest of our house has natural sunlight and moonlight that just pour in. So I know that's not for everybody, but let me just tell you the game-changing difference that made in my healing is when we moved to a house that I absolutely loved and felt so warm and cozy, like I was in this like glorious retreat. It just harmonized my body. I felt at home, like I just felt good, and I just knew that my body was going to take the temperature down of the stress and just do what it needed to do. And the natural sunlight, no joke, was definitely a part of that. So, a couple of action items that you can do that are not really detailed in the checklist, but I incorporated these in. So, maximize all windows and skylights. Remove heavy dark window treatments, drapes, and curtains. Now, I know sometimes they're decorative. That's fine. I know sometimes you need it for privacy. That's fine. My point is don't have these heavy dark drapes and curtains covering the windows throughout the day, blocking the light. Also, hang a mirror too. If you have smaller windows, mirrors are a good tool to reflect light, making your home not only feel larger, but you're also moving the light energy around, which can enhance just your overall mood. Replace old windows. If you have old windows, dirty, foggy, or cracked windows do not let the light in as well. So, newer energy efficient windows let sunshine in, minimize drafts, plus offer extra noise insulation, which is a whole other topic, but also beneficial. Paint your walls light and bright colors that reflect the light more versus dark, dingy colors. Now, again, I love interior design. I love a great accent wall. I tend to like my entire house is painted one color. I know that sounds boring, but it's not because again, furnishings have different color and decor, but also there are so many windows and like plants and different things. I think the colors on the wall would be distracting. Plus the way our house is, it just is more cohesive being one light and bright color. And so lighter colors, particularly ones that reflect window light, paint those a lighter, brighter color so you can maximize that. And for those that don't live in a space with a lot of windows or natural light, an alternative could be using light therapy lamps, such as a red light therapy panel. Obviously, I just happen to have those on my site. And Clearlight makes a red light therapy panel, a few different sizes, actually. There's a tabletop, there's a full body panel, actually, which a lot of people love. And then there's what we call the core tower, which I also have one in my sauna, which I'm sure if you follow me, you know. Red light mimics the sun and it has very specific benefit to the mitochondria. I use this for my healing, my cellular repair. It was phenomenal for the nerve regeneration on the left side, particularly in my left hand and foot, where I basically had no function for quite some time. So, light therapy, again, no joke, it's so healing to the body. But if you can't get it or you can't get exposure to it and you know that you need it or you're lacking, a good run light therapy tower can be a great substitute and really beneficial. Of course, it's not the same as the real thing, but it's a very close second and it's a very powerful tool. So if you need more information on that, hop on over to the Jen Heller site and look up the information on red light. It's under the infrared sauna page, as well as, good old Google has all sorts of fabulous information on the benefits of red light therapy. Now, just real quick on that, red light therapy, otherwise known as photobiomodulation, it is not just red light bulbs. 90% of the panels on the market are just gimmicks and they're just red light bulbs. True PBM therapy or photobiomodulation is a very specific measure of wavelength in nanometers, red light and near infrared. A couple other wavelengths can be involved as well. However, it's not just as simple as turning on red light bulbs. So PBM therapy, like I said, great for cellular repair, but it's also fantastic for anti-aging, inflammation, glowing skin, just has a whole host of benefits. A lot of athletes use it. It's like a concentrated light energy, basically. Okay, so that is a wrap on the benefits of natural light in your home. I hope you learned something fantastic and new today. Plus, maybe fired up some motivation to redo some decorations or decor in your home. As always, I'm grateful for you tuning in and look forward to sharing with you next week the many benefits of creating a dedicated wellness space and the tools that you could use to incorporate in your home. This is truly one of my favorite conversations and topics, and I cannot wait to get on my soapbox. So it's going to be fun, and you don't want to miss it. So tune in, and I'll see you next week. Okay, friends and fellow wellness warriors, thanks for tuning in today. If this show was helpful and inspired you, please head over to Apple or Spotify to rate, review, subscribe, and follow us, as well as share it with your friends and family. It's a fantastic way to grow the show, expand my reach, and teach others how to create a vibrant life they love. If you're ready to invest in your health and purchase a Clear Light sauna, hop on over to jenhellerlifestyle.com and send me a note. Thanks again for tuning in. I love you. I'm grateful for you, and I thank you so much for your support. You are the reason I do this work. You are the reason I do this show. And you are the reason I get up every single day with a burning desire in my soul. Cheers to your health and happiness, my friends. We'll see you next week. This podcast is for general information purposes only and is not intended to be substituted for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you think you have a medical condition, consult your licensed physician.